Legends, very small amount of fun to be had in this video. We have the three teams. We have one trade used between the three. Considering the People Squad used our last one last week, we are sitting there with none, the 41k in the bank, sitting at 679 overall, and 2 rounds to try and get into that top 600, or at least hold in the 600s here. So still, 2 great years in a row for the People Squad, finishing around the 100 mark last year, and then in the 600s this year after pretty poor last few months. So in terms of our squad this week, we literally have Palacia, who has potential to play, but he's in the reserves at the moment. So we're really hoping that our 17 all play. Obviously, having Aiken in there, sorry, I forgot to add Aiken there, is out. So we're literally just running on scraps for the last couple of rounds. So really holding in that 700 is going to be the most ideal thing. Hopefully next week Aiken is back, and it will cover some of the outs that are going to be next week. So again, being aware there should be some restings next week from big players like Damien Cook, Cam Murray, DCE should probably play, but Hines and Latrell and these types of players should be rested heading into the last round and then getting set for the finals. So this is the People Squad at the moment. We're going to stick with Hines as captain. I'm just going to hit, and we're going to hope. Next week, we go to the head-to-head squad. Did have to make the one trade this week, so I would have been playing... still could have played with 17, but didn't want to use Chris Lewis. He's going to be on the bench this week. The trade we did make was Ruben Garrick, so we sat him there last week hoping... Well, not hoping, but assuming there was going to be an injury next week or the week after. We didn't have anyone clear to bring in. This week, we need him as a strong player in our 17, considering we're playing with To'o, and he's a little bit of a worry at the moment with how low his scores have been. Salmon being out is a bit of a pain, so we had to trade someone in, and I decided to bring in O'Sullivan. I think he's going to play both games, which is obviously key. I think he's the best scorer left. I think it's a good chance that he can average 50 over the last 2 rounds, which would be a solid win for the head-to-head squad. We do have a few finals this week in the head-to-head, so let's wish the squad luck, and hopefully we can win a couple of them, just to show that you can make a good head-to-head team as well as an overall team, which has happened obviously, ranked 259. We've had a bit of been fairly unlucky the last few weeks in terms of we haven't had our best weeks. A lot of our best weeks were earlier on in the year, and it just hasn't worked out perfectly for us at this back end. So you can see how using extra trades throughout the early parts of the year to chase some points, to chase some team value, can bite you in the ass a little bit at the back end of the year if you start to make not the best decisions. So that's our head squad. Again, we're going to captain Nico Hines up against the Dogs, so I think he could have a big game. And I really like our bench. So we should score pretty well this week, but next week could be a slight worry with the fact that we have 0 trades and there should be a bunch of guys getting rested. My team, a little bit different. I'm going to hold steady in this one. We have the Eels playing in the second game of the round, I believe. So the second one, where is it? First, actually. So I'm going to loop Mr. Reed Money. If he can get a 30 odd, then I'm probably going to play Kohler, for example. If he gets anything above a 40, I'll definitely just take his points and leave Salmon there, and we can loop Reedy in. The theory with this one is I'm hoping to really dominate the last round. So because I have, you can see here, really only 2 players not playing, so Jamin Salmon and also Zach Hosting. Hosting is a chance of playing next week as well, so we have that. And Palacia should play next week if there is some restings from the Broncos, and with them gearing up for that first clash in the finals. So definitely a chance that Hosking or Palacia play, but at least have the couple of options on the emergencies in Kohler at least, and then being able to loop is pretty cool. So leaving that one trade is going to help us out next week when we have a few of these guys that are going to get rested, I think is the goal. So hopefully getting 17 players next week, rather than trying to make a mini upgrade, which could potentially not work out. I know Elliott hasn't been great the last few weeks. I think he's carrying a little bit of that rib issue. You've got Taumalolo, who hasn't been great either. But the options that are available, a little bit under 600k, it's not terrific. You got Lucy Leilua, who is probably going to get that 55 minutes again, 60 minutes with Tom Gilbert back. So I don't see it as being some clear upgrades, maybe 10 to 15 points. But next week is the hope that instead of playing 16, potentially if there's some restings, I'm going to get a full 17, or at least get that one extra player that I wouldn't get this week. And that's why I'm going to hold off on that trade for next week and try to get back into that top 1500. So that is the trades video, guys. I hope that helps you out, any of that strategy for your last few weeks. And very much thank you for all being here for the entirety of the year. Appreciate that so much, and can't wait for obviously the last few rounds to see where everyone ends up and who wins the competitions. And my Vanderbilt Fantasy Analysis competition, and then get excited for next year. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thanks, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one.